What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Coffee and Crafts with John from Pro Crafts over here on Casino Gaming TV. My goodness, it's been a while. As you know, I had a week. I lost my father last weekend. Actually, lost him last Saturday, and I had a quick flight down to Florida to sort of help mom out and rally the troops a little bit and sort of get things hopefully kind of figured out. So the shows that we're doing this week, I actually had planned out last week. So I'm kind of working off of my notes that I had taken last week. So forgive me if I'm a little bit off my normal game today, but we'll do the best that we can with it. So with that said, let's jump in. And I got a lot of things I want to get to before I get into the meat of the matter today. So with that said, let's go here. Let's see. I'm going to go here. And I want to recap a little bit last week's Ladderson play, the week before last Ladderson play. And I'll get into my dad's stuff in a little bit. But this is top of mind. And I want to make sure that we cover this because we had one of those epic rollouts. I think it was Friday. It was Friday, actually. So the Ladderson now is 9-1. We were 9-0 going into Friday. And Friday, we had this rollout where it was like 240 rolls, like literally 240 rolls. To lose, I think I ended up losing like $60 or whatever it was. We didn't lose much, right? We were down 800 back. We were all over the freaking place. And it was one of those epic, like, I'm going to fight this thing for 2.5 hours. And I did to get back to almost even, and skill and luck. My good friend Dylan, he writes me in the middle. He goes, "Are you going to do this with everybody? Like, are all the strategies going to get the same treatment? Are you going to let them all run until you win? Or, like, I'll do my best. There's going to be days where I have work and I can't. I got to stop for time sometimes. But most of the time, I'm going to try and give these things their due because, honestly, I think if you're going to do paycheck style play, and we're going to talk a lot about paycheck style play here in a little bit. If you're going to play paycheck style play, you got to give it the shot. Like if you're going to put your bankroll out there, $1,300, $2,000, whatever it is, and say, I'm taking this money and we're going to win 150 with it or whatever the goal is, or I'm going to lose the whole thing. You got to lose the whole thing or win the 150. If that's going to be your stated goal, you got to do it. So I feel like I got to play these things until I burn the day or until I win my goal. Now that day, 2.5 hours in, my arm was killing me. It was enough is enough already. I couldn't go any further. And we've battled back. So there's going to be days like that. And I think to be fair to all the strategies, I gotta go through it. Now, our good friend JB was texting me afterwards, and he actually wrote some stuff in the comments on that video, and he was cracking up. He's obviously not a dice control guy, right? Dice influence believer. And most people aren't. I guess we're probably 50-50 out here, but the people who aren't really aren't, And we had a great talk about this last night, and I'll talk about that on Crafts Chat later on too. The DI crowd, or the anti-DI crowd, cracks up when I'm making statements like I was last week. Like, here I am playing a don't strategy, and I'm rolling like a freaking champ, right? I had like all these 15, 20 rollers. I'm picking off numbers, and like the psychology of that day was insane because I'm pissed off at myself for picking off my don'ts. Yet I'm also happy that I'm throwing good. Yet I'm also saying things like, if this is even real, what am I? It was a crazy day. Like the emotions that I was on that day were insane. It's so true, right? Like, and all of this comes up. Like, why am I doing it, right? Why am I setting the dice and trying when I'm playing a don't strategy was number one, right? Why am I setting the dice the way I am number two when I want a don't strategy? And like, I want to practice. Like if I'm trying to get better at throwing the dice, I want to use that morning time as practice, but at the same time, I'm picking myself off. So the better I get in practice, the worse my betting becomes, right? Because I'm picking myself like crazy. It was this weird, like dichotomous emotion that I was going through Friday. It was fun and insane. That's life, man. Like, it's better to struggle. I would rather go out there and throw amazingly against the dark side strategy. I'd rather go out there and throw like shit when I'm playing on the right side and still make money with it, right? To prove that sometimes, I say most time is your enemy. Sometimes if a strategy's solid and the laddering, whatever we're doing works, then time can be your friend. You gotta let the table come back to you a little bit. And the don't always comes back, So it was a crazy day. And then of course, we had the crazy weekend, but yeah, we're gonna keep at it. We're going to keep at it. I'm going to make a little change today. We're going to go out there with lower flats, bigger odds today, and see if avoiding the come out disasters is a thing for me. So we'll hopefully maybe that'll work out. We'll see. All right. So back into like the regular stuff here. So first of all, I want to extend a huge thank you to everybody. As you know, I said it before, I lost my dad on Saturday, my stepfather, but the dad that raised me. So a quick little John history here. My parents were divorced when I was like 2 or 3. My mom got remarried when I was, I think, 4 or 4.5, whatever it was, to Gene, who we've been talking about, over chat and stuff. So they got married, and he raised me. He was my dad my whole life. They moved to Florida. They had bought a bookstore. I learned a ton from him, a ton of life stuff from him. So he's, if people say, the dad you were given, right? Your birth father, and my birth father's a good guy. I mean, he didn't treat my mom very good. He wasn't, there for me growing up, but he's an interesting, fun, good dude. Just wasn't dad, right? Gene raised me. So Gene is the dad that chose me. I always say that, Gus was the dad I was given. Gene was the dad who chose me. He married my mom and brought me in. Obviously brought me in. We were family, right? And he raised me as his own son. If mom didn't tell me he was my stepdad, I never would have known. Like he raised me. He was the dad that chose me. And I'll go to my deathbed saying that. And I respect that. He didn't have to do that, right? Step parents don't have to be great. And he was a great step parent for me. So a huge loss. And it happened really suddenly for us. It was like, talked to them on Friday night, had a great conversation on the phone for like an hour and a half. And it was one of those things where Kathy's like, we should call your parents. And I'm like, I don't feel like talking to them tonight. It's like, let's call them. So we called them, we talked for like an hour and a half. And then of course, Saturday it happens, and it happened quick. So I'm going to give you the advice I gave you. When was it? A year ago? And for those of you who are new to my show, you will know this. I have, this is not just about craps. This is a show about life too. And I am pretty transparent. You may or may not know this. But I had a heart attack myself about 18 years ago. And I go every year, a couple checks a year. I made it through, right? I had a quad bypass when I was 36 years old. So heart health is an issue for me, right? My stepdad had heart problems. We think that the cause of his death was what they call it AAA, which is an abdominal aortic aneurysm, which is there's a big artery that comes out of your heart into your abdominal region. It's the big one. It's the big artery that pumps, that for him was probably clogged. He had stents everywhere, and that was probably clogged. And when that thing has an aneurysm and it pops, there's no coming back from that. And it happened for him in about 15 minutes. He was at the hospital, and it was like, hey, Dad's in the hospital. And then the next phone call I got was Dad's gone. Like, what the hell? So all you guys, every one of you, I know many of you have smoked, do smoke, still smoke. Craig is working on losing weight. Good job, Craig. You're down 12 pounds. If we're all of a certain age, we're all whatever, declining. Go get it checked, please. Go get the little, they do not the EKG. They do, it's a, what the frick is that thing called? With the jelly, I'm talking about I forget the test. I'm losing my train of thought. It's the test, right? Where they look inside and they can see the blood flow. Go get that done. I think it's an echocardiogram. It's not expensive. Your insurance covers it. Go get it done. Checks for blockages in blood flow. That abdominal thing, that's a 5-minute, you're gone kind of a thing, guys. So go get it checked. Just word from somebody who's lived it and has seen it. Go get it checked. All right. And that's it. Just do the right thing. All right. I will be, by the way, a little up and down here. I got a lot of work to do. Of course, when a loved one passes, you have a lot of work to do. You get dumped a lot of things in your lap. So my family and I are working through a ton of stuff right now. So there will be days where I'm unfocused, and I'm going to apologize in advance for that. It's not your problem. It's my problem. But just so you know, if I come in here and start swearing up a storm, you can probably bet that something else is going on in my life. That's what's going on. All right. So what else is happening in our world? Boy, oh boy. I'm going to try and work some of these things in if I can. The geneism. So my dad was good, a good dude, and he I have a lot of geneisms, and I'll share them with you from time to time because sometimes they just spring into mind. This is one of my favorites, and we had a little like luncheon for him after his service, and we were all, my brother Joe, dinged the glass and stood up, and he said a few words that were pretty cool, and I think that inspired other people to kind of say some stuff. I relayed this story, and this story is this: we had a bookstore, and we sold other things too. We had stationery and whatever else. Salesman came into the store, and I was like probably 13 years old, 14 years old. This guy was a jerk, and he was like really hard selling my dad, and my dad was a salesman too from way back, and he kicked the guy out of the store. Get the fuck out of the store, and like mad at him, like get out of here, kind of thing. And I don't know what his product was, but he was a jerk. And my dad turned to me and he said, "Son, if you're going to succeed in life, you better be able to learn how to separate the fly shit from the pepper." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "You probably don't understand what I'm talking about, but you need to understand that and be able to do that." And in the moment, he was saying that guy, that human, was fly shit versus pepper, right? Which is good stuff. But it works. That advice works everywhere, in every part of your life. Learning how to separate the fly shit from the pepper works in everything. You're being sold something, you're reading something, you're hearing the news, you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook. People, right, can be fly shit and pepper. And the older I get, when I think about that day and those words, I bring it to me, right? Like, am I being fly shit right now? Or am I being the pepper in this situation? So you can look at it like moment to moment how you are. For you craps players, Charlie from Drunk Guy Explains is here. Charlie preaches a lot of pepper. Charlie brings the pepper every day, right? There you go. Charlie brings the pepper every day. Charlie, don't bullshit you. Ken from Ken Knows Gambling, that guy brings the pepper every day. He's not going to sugarcoat anything for you, right? When you watch videos and analyze strategies, there's fly shit out there and there's pepper out there, and you've got to learn how to separate the two. Look at what you're watching, listen to what you're hearing, analyze what you know, and separate the fly shit from the pepper in these strategies and the way that we talk to you, right? We all try and be as real as we can. That's from Gene to you. That's my Gene advice to you today, is learn and practice how to separate the good from the bad, the bullshit from the reality, okay? When you think about the videos you used to watch from Greg at 555 or from Jacob at Wager Me This, these are guys that are giving you lots and lots of pepper. Okay, hopefully I'm giving you some too, and there you go. All right, that's my Genism for today. And next, we have to celebrate a little bit of Craig. Right, Craig, how many of you won? Like 100? He's like 100-0 now or something like that. Craig has won like 50 Friday night fights. He's the undisputed heavyweight champion of the planet right now. Corey is coming for you though. I'm just warning you now. Corey is doing one of these, and the Sith Lord is coming for you. I wonder, though, can you survive me? And this is, I talked to Craig last night about this. I'm calling you out. Maybe Friday I'll do it. I'm not sure what day I'm going to do it, but I watched your Friday night fights on the airplane on the way home, and I got to thinking about this. How can I don't want to rag on you, but I'm going to a little bit, right? I was watching that, and I remember your opening bet series, okay? And it was like, I forgive me if I'm wrong, 440 inside, hop in the Reds for how much each? 30 each? Is that what it was? Right? And then you had the $80 horn. And I'm doing the math in my head. I'm going, there's not a bet there that can win. Like, there's no way anything you're doing there is going to produce a win. Like the 4 and 10 get set as a point, you lose the Reds and the horn. If an inside number gets hit, you lose the Reds and the horn. If a horn hits, you lose the Reds. And like, I don't see where the it is there. I'm going to break that down. I'm going to break down that opening salvo of yours, because I think it's interesting to look at all what you did there. And then I want to go and kind of, like, as the rolls happened, talk about what you did to win, what I may have done instead, and look at like what we're all seeing here. And I'd like to have you probably on the show with me if we can pull it off time wise. I'll have you on the show. Might have to do it after because you have a job that conflicts with this time. But I think it'd be kind of fun to go through what you did and work through it together. So that's this. Look for that. I think it's gonna be kind of fun to do it. I want to break down all of it because when I watch people chasing the numbers, and sometimes it works and oftentimes it doesn't, versus just a straight up play, I want to get some analysis on that. So anyway, Craig, I'm calling you out. We'll have some fun with that. It'll be a good, I think, educational thing, and maybe you can take over the mantle as the best math guy in town, because I was scratching my head a few times. You won some of those bets, but I'm like, I don't know. I haven't like broke it all down, but I want to do it. It'd be kind of fun to like go through the Friday night fights on the next week, and like maybe Mondays is kind of a let's review the bets kind of a thing. And I don't know. I'm thinking of like new show segments we can do as I'm still working on the whole USA of Craps thing. So, all right. What else is going on in the world? We have meetups coming, as you know, September 15th to 17th here in Seatown. Somebody brought it up in Discord, by the way. If you're going to come to this thing, look into flying to Payne Field as an option for you. There's an airport up north of me near the casino, near Toledo Casino, called Payne Field. It's a tiny airport. Doesn't have very many flights in or out, but it can be half the price or double the price depending on the airline. If you can get there, get there. It's a way better airport to fly into. SeaTac is a disaster. Our airport's under construction. It's a mess. But if you can get into Payne Field, that's great. That's going to be fun. We've got 2 private tables. We got a fire pit night. We got a baseball game to go to. It's going to be awesome. Craps for the here in Vegas, 11th and 12th, Saturday, Sunday. Veterans Day weekend, right before the Formula One race. We're going to do 24 hours of Craps fundraising for PTSD. I'll have more information next week, I hope, on that one. So there's all that. Oh, Craig is already, look at this, guys. He's already, there's anxiety. He's making excuses for his decisions. We haven't even broke it down yet. No excuses. Own your bets. But the thing is, you're working a lot on trend betting now, right? You're doing a lot more like, hey, I see this and betting that, which is interesting, right? And I think, like I said, try to chase the table, try to predict what's going to happen when it's hucking and chucking. There's interesting, I think, topics in there for us, and that's why I want to break it down. It's not going to be a destroy Craig thing. It's going to be let's look at what the situation is and see situationally, what did you choose to do? What may I have done? What ended up being the right thing in the end? Like, it might be neither of us, right? And that's what I want. I just want to go around and whatever, see what it looks like. So there's that. All right, let's switch gears here. And this week, by the way, is going to be we're going to work on Craps Wars all week. And I don't mean to be like this versus that, although the title of the video is that. But this week I want to do a little comparison between the ladder, which is basically you go up as you lose and you go down as you win. Now, we all know somebody, Waylon from Waylon's Way Craps, who exclusively, 99% of the time, plays ladder systems. Up as you lose, down as you win. It's called the Dalen Bear system. It means the ladder in French, I think, right? And it's interesting, right? This thing targets choppy tables, right? You win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. You win money in the end of that thing. The chop is where it bombs, right? On a run, of course, when it's a run, you're same betting at base level, you're making great money, right? There is the Ladderson, which I play, and it's a different approach to the same problem, okay? The Ladderson does this. It goes up as you lose, and it never comes down, okay? It's trying to target, again, another run. We need a run in the Ladderson to work, right? It'll work okay in the chop because you're making more money on every single win, but you need to get a run in the end to win. And these two systems are super interesting when you compare them. Last night in the Craps chat, there was an interesting discussion about can you play for a living? Can you play Craps for a living? The short answer is probably no, right? There are guys, who've done it. Alfredo, made 65,000 last year or something like that, whatever he said it was. El Toro makes a ton of money. DGE makes a ton of money at Craps, right? It's the few and far between that do it. And how do you do it, right? How can you, you can't just go out there and drop 160 across and have having a $10,000 bankroll and playing 160 across, whatever that ends up being 100 times, and one time you make $11,000. That's not the way you win at Craps. That's not the way that you go, right? You can do it. That ain't on the regular, right? That ain't how this works. The big bankroll, we say there's 3 elements to winning, right? There's the I can throw the dice really good element or not. There is the, my betting is great. Alfredo says you got to be a good bettor. I say I'm a great bettor. I think I'm one of the best bettors out there. Your betting style, your discipline, your management, right? If you're a great bettor and you have discipline, even on random, randy, whatever, terrible tables, chop, you can still make money and you can have the balls to walk. That's the two number one things you can do is that, right? But being a solid bettor to start with, I think is important. If you can throw the dice, it helps you a little bit. That's great. The other thing that came up that was bankroll. And I said this last night, like somebody asked, how much bankroll do you need to win $500? Well, it depends on what you're doing. I will tell you this, these two ways of playing, the ladder and the Ladderson, martingale, but not in craps, are the only ways that you can use pure bankroll to win. You don't have to be a good bettor to play with the Ladderson. And I'm not saying Waylon is not a good bettor, but I'm going to say Waylon's not a good bettor. And what I mean by that is this. A good bettor says, I'm going to go, whatever, 130 across. I'm going to take 2 hits. I'm going to reduce 64 across. And I'm going to, whatever, power press this and what, right? And you're betting the trend. You're betting with your whatever. You're a good bettor. When you have bankroll, you don't got to be a good bettor, right? You're going to put $50 on the don't. And when you lose, it's going to be 75. And when you lose, it's going to be 100. And you can just sit there all freaking day because you got 10 grand behind you. And at some point, your 10 grand is going to work in your favor because the 7 will come back. That's the theory of laddering, right? You don't have to be smart. You don't have to make decisions. You're just using money as your only tool, right? The ladder and the Ladderson work in much the same way. They just take a different tack on it. And I want to go to the table here and I want to demonstrate really quick what that looks like for me. And I think where these two systems can differ. Okay, so let's go ahead and go here. I'm going to simulate some loss and some win, and I'll do a little bit of rolling, and we'll get a look at how the ladder and the Ladderson were designed, why they work, when they fail out. Okay, so let's go to the table here. Give me a second to turn some lights on back there, and we will get her going. Come on, light. There you go. I love when the eyes blink at you like that in the morning. Isn't that cool? How the eyes do that. All right, here we go. Let's simulate a little bit. I'm going to get my dice over here. I'll put them up, and we're going to put up a big fat 7 up here because, I love me some 7s right there. There's the big fat 7. Now let's just do this. I'm going to move that over here. I got $1,000 in the bank. All right, we're just going to take and simulate a bunch of losses first. I want to show you kind of how the ladder works, and let's keep track of how many rolls it takes us to get back to not only square, but some profit. Again, we're just going to simulate a really, really bad run, like a typical John run. Okay, so I'll use my lammers here. We'll put them in the cum. I'll put the blacks in the cum, just to note how many losses we've experienced and how many rolls it takes to get back. All right, so here we go. We're going to lose our first bet. All right, I'll put it up here. I'll put it here in the field. That'll be our loss pile. Okay, go out there with a 2-unit bet, and we lose the 2-unit bet. Now we're down 1, 2, 3 units, 2 bets. The next bet out there would be 3. Okay, let's say we bet 3 and we lose 3. Let's say that we now have to bet 4. We're laddering up 1 unit up after every loss. You bet 4 and you lose 4. And the last one we'll go to 5 levels. Right? I don't like going past 5, but 5 levels on the don't, and you lose it. Now you're down. Let's count the chips. 5 and 4 is 9, and 3 is 12. And 2 is 14, and 1 is 15. 15 units down. I started with 20 units. I got 5 in the rack. Yeah? Now, how does the ladder work from this point on? Actually, we should probably leave the 5 out there because I don't have enough chips in the rack. Actually, you know what? Let's put more chips in the rack because I want to make sure we have enough money to play this. I'll put another $100 back here. So we started out with $1,100 because I need to make my next bet is going to be 6. All right, here we go. We're going to go 4, 5, $600 on the don't. Okay, and remember, we're looking to make $1,100 back in our rack. Now let's count the wins. Now we had that worst run, and you're like, oh my God, I'm down to $300, and I got this big ass bet out here, right? 6 units are out there. They could be white chips, they could be red chips, they could be black chips. We don't care, right? Again, scale, scale, scale. $5 table, you're looking at $30 here, right? If you're playing at the Flamingo and it's black chips or the Bellagio, this is $600, right? For me, right now, it's $150. The ladder works like this. You've lost 15 units, you're out here for 6, okay? We're gonna count the wins and pay ourselves out of our loss pile for a minute. Here we go. Let's say we win here. We get one nice fat win. It's gonna pay 5, 6 units, right? We're gonna ladder down. We're gonna take 1 off of our stack. So we're gonna bet 1 unit less. Now we're betting 5 units. I'm gonna go ahead and reset my rack. There's 4 units. There's 8 units. There's 10 units back in the rack and I'm at a 5 unit bet. We win a second time. 5 pays 3, 5 units out of our loss pile. We can ladder down by 1. Now we go to 4 units. And again, we'll reset our rack. We're back to 4 stacks. We need 6 stacks in our rack, but we're at 4 units here. Or now we're down to 4 units. Let's say we win a third time. 1, 2, 3. Now all of our losses are recouped. We can ladder back down to one more unit. We'll put the little lammer in there. And we're almost back. In fact, if we took our money back, your bankroll's recovered on that third hit, okay? But we're still out here. The ladder is there to win money too, right? So you're still out here with your 3 unit bet. Now, on win number 4, you get paid 3, you ladder back down. There's your original bankroll in your rack. And there's your first unit in profit. And you have a 2 unit bet out here. If we hit again, we win 2. Ladder back down to 1. Now you're at $100 in profit. And of course, on the last one, you're same betting and you're out for 100.5. You're out for 6 units. That's the ladder, right? The ladder goes up, ladder goes down. And as you're winning and losing, you start making money. In the chop, it works kind of the same. Check it out. Let's do a little chop example, right? We're gonna go out here for 1. We're gonna lose 1. We're gonna bet 2. Now here's the chop. You're gonna win at level 2. You're gonna, actually I should do it. We're gonna win at level 2, so we're gonna take one of our losses, plus 1 from the bank, and ladder back down. And look what happens. Bankrolls back, and you got a quarter in profit. As you're up and down with the chop, right? Every time you chop, you lose 1, you bet 2, you win 2, you're back down 1, unit in profit, and you're still playing. The chop is where the ladder is great in the chop, right? Now it's hard, of course, in the don't because you have that 2-phase bet, but I'm just giving you kind of a 50-50 look at things, okay? Now, let's do the Ladderson, which is a little bit different in theory. Okay, here we go. We're gonna make the same simulation. This is a Ladderson where we never come down, okay? The theory of the ladder, again, is you're up on your losses, you're down on your wins. In the chop, in baccarat, in blackjack, in roulette, you're betting red, black. It doesn't freaking matter. That shit works. If you got this, right? Notice we went down. I'm gonna move this up here. We went down, by the way, all the way over our last 3 chips. We went from 1,100 to 300 in no time, right? When I say you need bankroll, you need freaking bankroll. If you're gonna play it at the quarter level, you can't have 1,100 bucks to do it like this at the quarter level. You need 5K to play it this way because you gotta get your bets, be able to have your bets up high enough. Now here's the Ladderson, a little different. Same story though, right? It's the same idea. Again, we have 1,100 bucks in here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1,100. Here we go, 1,100 bucks in the rack. Let's do it. Let's go out for 1 unit and let's lose the unit. Let's ladder up to 2 and we'll lose 2. We'll ladder up to 3 and we'll lose 3. And we'll ladder up to 4. We did 5, right? To 4, we'll lose 4. And we'll finally go up to level 5. We'll go 5 units up and we'll lose level 5. We're like, oh my God. We're screwed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here we go. We're level 5. Now, what does the Ladderson do? Okay, well, we're at level 5. I'm actually out of greens. I must have miscounted, but we're out of greens. We're level 5. Check out the way the Ladderson works. Okay, we never come down. The ladder up and down. The Ladderson stays up. And here's why I want it to stay up. Level 5. We get a win. It pays. It's back in the rack. And guess what, folks? We stay at level 5. Hit number 2, pays 4, 5. We're gonna recover the bankroll a little bit quicker. We're not gonna run away. Level 3, all the losses back. There's everything back in the rack. On 3 hits, we're totally even. Matter of fact, if I pull all this back, we're back to starting point. So in 3 hits, I'm back, right? Those bigger bets out there save you. The ladder needed 4 hits to be even. The Ladderson in the same 4 hits is at goal, right? There's your starting bankroll, and there's whatever this is, 125 or whatever, 5 units in goal. The Ladderson stays up, so that 4th hit becomes your money shot. That's why the approach is different. You never come down on the Ladderson, you're always increasing up. You catch a little run at the higher levels, boom, 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 3 hits and you're back to square. Even at level 5, at 3 hits, you're back down. That's why the Ladderson works. When I'm playing it out with 2 bets and they're both laddering up, right, and never coming down, the hits become very impactful very quickly. And on a 50-50 bet sequence, that can work for you. So the Ladderson, up, never come down, takes 1 less hit to recover from level 5. The ladder, up and down, takes an extra hit, and your profit level here is 1 unit. Your profit level here on that same one is 5 units. So your profit goes way up if you catch the run. Let's take a look at how Ladderson works in a chop. I really have not done this live yet, so let's take a look at what happens in a chop with the Ladderson. So we're gonna lose the first one, come out with 2, right? And we're gonna win 2. Back to the rack we go, but we stay up. We lose 2, come out with 3. We're gonna win 3 and stay up. So we're still not quite covered. If you wanted to pull this down, you'd actually be up 2 units here. Let's say we lose the 3, we bet 3, right? We win 3. I'm sorry, we bet 4, sorry. Bet 4, win 4, and stay up. Bankroll is basically covered. Let's say you lose 4 again. You bet 5. You win 4 plus 1. Dig it. Here comes the magic. Now we're back. There's your bankroll. There's your $100 in profit. So on a chop, this one works just as well as the ladder does. On the chop, you're winning 1 or 2 units every single time through. So 4 chops, right? 4 losses, you're up $400 or 4 units. They both work great in a chop. Now you're going to have those, you know, the negative thing, right? Or the big time number of losses. That I guess the thing I'm trying to say is this. If you're going to use bankroll as your hammer, you don't got to think. You're just adding chips. You don't need to be a quote unquote great bettor to make this system work, but you better damn well have a big freaking bankroll. I'm not doing this system here. There's $1,000 in green, by the way. I honestly, even though I'm doing it every day in the garage, I think we're betting too high. I don't think I go here without this. There's 2, 3. There's $4,000. I wouldn't even attempt this unless I was here. Right? Somebody said, how much do you need to win $500? I think you need at least this 5K. And that 5K might be required to win you 100 or $200. If you think about how bad this can get, these ladders can be up to level 10 sometimes, right? You need $1,000 out here. You need the backing bankroll to do it. Now 1, 2 hits and you're back. But that's a bankroll play. Having enormous bankroll and a simple system, lay 4, lay 10, ladder up forever, right? Lay 4, place 10, lay 9, or laid 5, whatever you're doing up here, doesn't matter. Ladder up, ladder down, ladder up and stay up. If you just work the system, you don't have to think about pressing and rolling the dice and all the other mechanics. You can just let your bankroll do the talking. And that's what Charlie from Drunk Guy Explains does. That's what Ken from Ken Knows Gambling does. That's what Waylon from Waylon's Way Craps does. These guys make money because they've got this to support a simple play. And it's all about the bet size. It's not about all the mechanics of what we're trying to do, right? A lot of us are playing with, and I do this too, right? I'm guilty of playing with a ton of mechanics. When I get extra profit and I'm playing out here across, I have a lot of mechanical things that I like to do and have some fun with the game. Alfredo, I know. Press, regress, all the things, that's great. you're going to lose 2, lose 2, lose 3, lose 5, win 3,000, lose 2, lose 3, lose 5, lose 7, win 300, lose 2, lose 3, win 3,000. That's a hard way to get it done on the right side. Where these styles of play, ladder the 6 and 8 up all day long like Waylon does, you don't got to think about it. Go 30, 60, 90, 120, 90, 120, 90, 60, 90, 30, and all of a sudden you got $500 in your rack without thinking about it. Bankroll can take the brain and the dependency on being a good thrower out of the mix. And that's what the Ladderson and the ladder do. I'm not going to talk Marty's because martingales in craps don't make any sense. Anywhere on the table, a martingale makes 0 sense. Other games, we can have that conversation, but not in this game. So like the ladders or the progressions like the 31, another negative progression, can work great in this game. I think combining a ladder with a positive ladder can also work, right? You can come out here and lose a bet, ladder it up, win 2, and stack it and do a little parlay, grab a quick $100 and you're freaking out of here, right? There's your initial investment and there's your 150 or your 6 units and you're gone, right? Combining a little bit of negative progression with a quick parlay or a quick hammer on a win, going from a negative progression to a 1, 3, 2, 4 or negative progression to a 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you imagine when you get the bets up, the power of those bets gets increased because you're using your bankroll to give you some hammer time down here. And that's it. That is how ladders work. And I think when you watch Waylon play, and I use Waylon as an example because he's like the poster child right now for laddering systems. When you watch him play, and I watch people watch him, and they're dumbfounded by how it works. Oh my God, Waylon, you're a freaking genius. Like, it's not that he's genius, right? It's that he's making this work in a way that you don't have to think so damn much, right? You can take a look at something simple, and I'll give you another example here. Let's use my favorite strategy. Let's go with the horseman. I'll actually roll this out real quick. Let's just roll. Oh, look at that, aces. We're home. Goal made, right? My goal with the horseman is to win all the bets. So we got a 4, and it's going to be 3 comes, right? At one level. So we lose something in here. There's a 10. If I don't win all the bets, there's an 8. Come, there's a 5. We got 3 come bet set and this one here, right? My goal is to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. If I don't win that, ladder up. Let's see what happens. Let's just play it out. There's the 4. We pick our $100, right? The puck is off. What do you do in this case? Well, you can ladder here with 200, or I can ladder up this bet by taking extra odds on it afterwards. Let's catch a new point. Oh, look at that. We lost. See how the horseman will just destroy you some days? There's the perfect storm right now. $200 down here. We catch a 6. $50 in here. So you're going to ladder these things up. Oh my God. Look at that. Look at that. 3 units. Want to be here all day, folks? There's 3. There's 3. And we'll do one more set of 3. We're probably going to lose this, but this is a object lesson here. 5. Are we going to get burned again on this thing? No, we got paid on the 8. That's cool. So the 8 pays, right? And what you do here is this. You put it right back in. That right there becomes odds, right? I want to ladder up a win. I want to increase the power of this bet on a win. What I might do is go back down to 1 unit in here. Of course, we catch a freaking 3, but I still have win money in here. It goes to the 4. So the 4 comes down. It's going to get paid $75. I want to ladder up after a win. I can do that. I can stack up with winnings. Let's get another, again, we'll reduce down to 1. We'll take the yo. Positive progression. 1, 3, 2, 4, right? Oh, you son of a bear. Look at that. Ladder up. 4, look at that. Would you look at that? 4 pays 1. For that goes there. The profit's on top. Restart down in here. So you can ladder up losses and stuff in here while you're waiting for that thing to resolve itself. And again, what that does, it makes these bets a little bit stronger on the losses. They recover a little bit quicker, okay? Hopefully we'll 7 out and that big bet down there makes good sense. There goes to the 8. We'll put 2 of our win units on the 8. And again, we're laddering up, following a win, progressive style. There's a 9. There's the 8. It pays 50, 60 up top, 1 down below. And again, if I want to ladder up my win, make that flat bet a little bit bigger. There's the 6. We're going to lose the 2. So all that work on these box numbers up here end up hurting us a little bit, right? But that's the point, is you can ladder up here. And again, here, undeterred, that goes to either $300 or it goes to 100 with 300 in odds on the next one, right? You have a choice there. Let's come out to a 6. That's great. That gets paid. I'll go 100 and 300 down here. Next come bet. Again, ladder up in here. God, that cum is killing me today. 5. Hey, look at that. 1 goes there. 3 pays 3. Ladder up a win. Hammer the odds. Bring some money back. Give me a 7. Give me a freaking 7. We'll put up, again, win money on that. Oh my God, the 6 is getting destroyed. Look at that. Anyway, I think we're almost out of time here. That's the point. I'm going to bring these down. This is bubble craps, bringing them down. When this starts to recover, that 1 and 4, that 1 and 5, that 1 and 6 with the odds, that'll start to recover that really quick. Now we got burned in there pretty good, but we did okay with the greens, right? We're probably, I wouldn't say even, but we're not doing that awful. Let's see what we did. 4, 8. There's 1,500. 17, 18, 19. That's 2,000. Yeah, we lost a little bit. 2,000, 2, 3, 23.75. So we lost $1,000, $1,200. All in the don't, of course, right? But that's the point, right? Laddering up. If you stay in there long enough, that don't resolves itself. It always does. Come on back. So there we go. Let me run back over here and talk to you in person. Let's go back over here. Okay. Oh, wrong screen. Wrong screen. Are there any questions? Look at PCs over here to see what y'all are talking about. And we have about 8 minutes before we got to go outside. Let's see, John. Let's see. Remembering, yeah. So if someone is picking you off, wouldn't I get off and wait for the next shooter? So this is an interesting point. And again, I demonstrated it there. If you're a don't player, we know the 7's coming back. And again, if you're doing this short stacked, buying for $1,000, $25 bets, what everybody says may hold true, right? Don't let the same guy beat you twice. Don't get picked off more than twice. Wait for the run of 7s to come, right? All the feel things. That's Darksider. He says it all the time, right? You're saying it here. Yes and no. If I have unlimited bankroll, if I'm bringing 10K, right? No, I'm not gonna worry about getting picked off. I'm gonna because if I have that kind of bankroll, I can let the ladder build. Because to me, building the ladder to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units high, you have the bankroll to do that. That is your hammer. You're gonna get picked off. That big bet size is your protection. Not avoiding the roll, your protection is your money. If you're laddering up, if you've got the bankroll and you got a table limit that won't restrict you, right? That's the way. That's the way with a ladder to make it work. If you're playing a ladder, you don't worry about avoiding shit. You just play it out. You let the ladder do its job, right? If you're playing with a smaller bankroll and you're not laddering up, or you're not using your bankroll as the hammer, then yes, you don't let yourself get picked off too many times. You pick and choose your battles, right? Ultimately, the dice do not care. They don't know that they just picked you off, right? The random roller, right? The regular shooter, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, the dice are going to do what they're going to do. Whether you're waiting for 10 rolls or 3 shooters or whatever, doesn't matter. When your bets are exposed to the 7, you're going to lose 1 out of 6 of them. That's just the way that it works. So I don't buy into the waiting for vibe, right? I buy into very hard hammering a streak. So when I'm in it and it's winning, I'm betting bigger most of the time. I'm beating that streak to death if I can do it. That's why I like the Ladderson, because the Ladderson does hit a streak really hard. I'd rather do it that way. Things happen in bunches. I want to be on the beginning of a bunch with a big bet and let that shit just ride on through versus getting weaker on a good run. And I view the ladder as being weaker on a long run than keeping the bets up. Just personal preference, right? Again, if money is your tool, use the money as the tool. That's what I guess that's the thing. If money is your tool, then use your tool. I think that's important. All right, there it is. That's my final thoughts. I might as well just say it there. If money is your tool, use your tool. And again, go wind back to the genism of the day, separate the fly shit from the pepper, right? I may be talking a bunch of shit right now, right? It's ladders work when they work. They don't work when they don't work. You're going to run into the run where you're going to lose the whole $5,000. You're going to run into that awful run. Take it all with a grain of salt, right? Nobody has a limited bankroll. No casino will let you bet forever. The 95% case is that works, right? With enough bankroll that works. And if you've got it, you got it. I got to go. It is 8:51. I'm going to go make new coffee. I'm going to go see in the garage. I'm going to run a ladder. I'm going to run Ladderson out there in the garage. And we're going to do a Ladderson with small bankroll and huge bets. So everything I just said to do, not to do, I'm going to go out there and do it live. So we'll see y'all. All right. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here, everybody. Love y'all. Again, thanks for all that support last week. Appreciate it more than you know. It meant a lot. I said it last night. It meant a lot to me that Chris and Jeff took over the show and ran it live last week. It meant a lot to me. All the texts, all the Discord notes, all the emails that I got from everybody. Every one of those things was personal, and it meant a ton. All the prayer emojis in the chats with Jeff and Chris's show. All the offers to donate. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. This is a community that we built that is second to none. I'll tell you that. So with that said, wish me luck. Back to the daily grind here in about 15 minutes. I'll see you out there. Bye, y'all.